Well, this is a final report on the piece of junk known as the Lutu fork. Okay, so I did about 50 miles on these, going back and forth to work. Bit of light off-road, bit of on-road, nothing mad on the old Trek work hack. And yeah, I was racing a road cyclist, so I did get past him eventually. Of course, my lockout was on, however it was sagging down quite a bit, and the lockout really wasn't working that well. Then with the lockout off, I was riding the light off-road, and now I got down to this curb, and it's went a katunk. And yeah, this is the compression and rebound damper that also does the lockout and stuff. My friend also rode this, and it did it even more. So what's happened, as you can see, is it's popped the bushing out the bottom, made real cheap. It almost looks like polypropylene. It's probably acetal, but yeah, no, it's acetal. Too hard to be polypropylene. Bush popped out of here. Here's the seal, and here's the other bush, and there's the end of the damper there. This thing is really cheap. This is like a knockoff of a Suntour damper. There's the part number for anyone, JG, whoever they are, don't know. Also, the part that holds the damper in place is cheap plastic. So the part that's under all that load is cheap plastic. That is under most of the load of the fork. Alright, it's not the air spring, but you know, when it's locked out, that's under a fair bit of stress. Just, you know, when you're just out saddle pedaling. And also this is sealed and non-rebuildable, so you can't change the oil in here at all. Once the oil turns to mush, it's done. That's the end of it. And I mean, what's actually going to happen is this bushing's going to wear out first, if this doesn't happen to start with. And then it's just going to leak oil out of here very quickly. You've got probably about 1 to 2 months of riding maximum out of that thing. Let's look at the actual fork itself. So here we have inside the fork. I pulled the seals out just to, just normal fork seals. They're dust seals. It doesn't have oil seals because there's no oil in it. It's just grease lubricated. Yeah, they're literally very similar to Suntour ones, but made out of an even cheaper plastic. Yeah, that little tab is what locks them in place. That's all that locks that in place. You just peel that back and then push up with your finger, and the thing will just pop straight out. But getting new ones, well, I suppose Suntour ones might fit. They might be the correct diameter, they might not be. Without trying it, I don't know. In my case, the damper's totally trashed, so it's not worth fixing this thing. Yeah, cheap ABS plastic. There was a load of cast defects we talked about before in the previous video. When I first got these, you can see how bad the fettling is on there. Look at that, that's horrendous. It's not, looks like a dull apprentice has been at it with a dull beaver. Yeah, what the hell? Then there's the old, I don't know if you can see that, the threads were kind of messed up from the factory. And there's, look at that, that's a sand inclusion right there, or porosity, one or two. So that post is really weak compared to the rest of it. You can see it through the paint. If you can see that through the paint, I mean, I worked in a bit of cast inspection and things like that before, and I know that's bad. That's really bad. That means it's much weaker than what it would be otherwise. And that's, it's only a break, don't worry about it. Otherwise, a few apprentice marks here. The main one though, yeah, no, it wasn't the main one. If you can see it's bad, no, you can't see it because all the grease that leaked out from the crappy seals has covered it up. But oh, there you go. It's misshapen round where the stanchions slot into the crown. Yeah, real cheap, real nasty. This is not a Fox. A lot of people, say, oh yeah, they're as good as Fox. They're not. They're really not. They're worse than like Suntour XCTs. They just have slightly better damping for about the first week. But really and truthfully, a Suntour XCM, even though it's not Aeris coil, beats the hell out of these things. It really does. These are just cheap and nasty in every way. And of course, there's no address or any liability or anything. Oh yeah, don't know if you can see that, but the Kashima coating was wearing off the stanchion just there, or fake Kashima. The anodizing, whatever you want to call it, it's not real Kashima. Well, kind of technically is, but kind of technically isn't. Kashima coat is essentially just anodized, but this is applied so badly, it's just, yeah, nasty. Yeah, that concludes the video on this really terrible fork. Do not buy one. Maybe there's 1 or 2 YouTubers that seem to have had okay luck with it, but it has not been tested for any longer than 1 video. And as far as actual mileage is concerned, they might have had a couple of hours at a bike park. That's nothing like actually putting out mileage on this thing. Yeah, I predict the very best case scenario, you might get 3 to 6 months out of this thing, and then she's junk. that concludes this video. I mean, I was doing very light riding here, so, and she still broke. But I was using a lockout on road. I think that's probably what killed it. The lockout's just badly designed. There's no blow off or anything like that, so pedalling out the saddle causes this to happen. If you didn't use the lockout, you might get 2 to 3 months, maybe 6 months out of it. That concludes this video. Thank you for watching. Lutu fork failure. Short video of how rubbish these forks really are. 50 miles. That's locked out. I'll put it the other way just in case you don't believe me. Yeah, 50 miles. 50. Damn, China. I know these things are terrible, but yeah, something's broken inside. That concludes this video.